welcome back to another Chase Stories chat. My name's Marcelino, and today I'm joined with my friend Levi. Levi, thank you for joining me.
What's up, guys?
Levi, I don't know personally, but I know him through a friend, Robel, who has done a chat with me as well, and he introduced us. And Levi and I kind of chatted a little bit beforehand, and I'm super excited for you all to hear his story and what he's up to. So to start, this is how we usually started off, Levi. We usually started off with a cheers. So cheers to you. I got my water here.
Cheers.
What are you drinking today?
Just a little bit of a sugar-free Red Bull. Got to keep me going after work,
I like it, man. And usually, Levi, we always start with the hardest questions first. Okay, it's tradition.
Great.
Are you familiar with the animal, the platypus?
I've heard of it, but no, not too familiar.
Okay. Do you know what it looks like?
I have this image of my mind of it looking somewhere between like a walrus and a seal, something like that.
You're way off.
Oh, dang, I'm wrong. That's funny.
Yeah, but usually I ask the most obscure things to start just to break the ice.
Yeah, that's funny.
I'm gonna have to show you a picture real quick before we continue because I think you're kind of far off.
Okay. That's funny.
Here we go. All right. This is a platypus.
Oh, so it's in the water-ish?
Yeah.
But it's more like a duck with a beak. I don't know. Great. Dope.
Well, I was going to ask you about the platypus. I was going to ask you, is a platypus a duck or a beaver? Because it has like a beaver tail and a duck face, so I don't know what it is.
No idea.
No idea. That's usually, and we've got a poll going on. It's a very heated debate. That's usually how we...
That's funny.
Well, hey, Levi, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? I know that you are a dental hygienist. You told me a little bit about that, but could you sort of go, more in depth about what you do and how you got into it and sort of, who you are as well?
Yeah. So I am currently a dental hygienist and also fourth-year dental student. So I'll be a dentist in about 9 to 10 months from now, in May of 2021. So I'll backtrack from that. I'm originally from the San Francisco Bay Area, born and raised in San Francisco. Then I moved to the East Bay, went to high school in Oakland with Robel. That's how we know each other. From high school, I went to community college for 1 year over at DVC. It's a community college in the East Bay.
Oh, yeah, I know DVC.
Yeah. So I went for 1 year. And then with all intents and purposes to transfer to a university. Transferred to USC in Southern California, University of Southern California in 2011. And then I've been pretty much in LA ever since. So I graduated with my bachelor's in dental hygiene, bachelor's of science in dental hygiene in 2015. I taught at the university as an associate professor. I taught clinical dental hygiene. So I taught the first year dental hygiene students how to use instruments, how to work with patients, how to, take blood pressure, kind of like basic baseline, entry-level hygiene stuff. Did that for 1 year. Then the following year, when I was working in private practice, I decided that I wanted to go back to dental school. So I got pretty serious about it, took some extra classes. So I had to take physics, I had to take organic chemistry and their associated labs. And then I applied to dental school, got accepted in 2017. And then 3 years later, or 4 years later, I guess almost now, here we are.
Damn, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's all in a nutshell. And so I think, and why I think Robel connected us a lot was you have like a pretty large social media platform. And do you want to talk a little bit about what your message is through that and, what sort of stuff that you post on there?
Yeah, 100%. So, I've been taking social media, like Instagram specifically, pretty seriously, probably since 2017. So for about 3 years now, really like the latter part of 2017, so like 2.5 now. and it's had a really big impact on me for developing the reasons like why I continue to do dentistry, and also why mentorship is so important to me. So through social media, I've been able to partner with a bunch of different companies. The companies that I choose and prefer to partner with are companies that are usually based out of service. So one really big company that I am working with and have been working with kind of since inception is called Figs. They're a medical apparel scrubs company. Really big company. They're kind of like they're a big player in this space in terms of having like performance medical wear, not just like your old boxy kind of ugly looking scrubs. Like
Yeah.
they're pretty like fitted, tailored. They have like jogger scrubs and stuff. But past the mission of being like an aesthetic company and having it like have really cool colors and styles and stuff, I think the mission is what really draws me into this company. They're similar to Tom's Shoes in that they donate a pair of scrubs for every pair that's purchased. And so on average, they're donating like hundreds of thousands of scrubs annually. One of the vessels in which they are able to donate those scrubs is by doing mission trips. And so every year, because it's a medical wear company or a medical apparel company, they their influencers or like their brand ambassadors are usually people who work in the medical field. So me in dental, one of my buddies who works at Cedars-Sinai, he's an internal medicine, Dr. Jeff Toll. He's obviously an MD. I have a bunch of friends who are nurses, a bunch of friends who are PAs, across the spectrum, veterinarians even. And we all kind of get together and are able to share stories like across platforms about what makes us successful in our trade, what kind of drives us, what keeps us going. But again, the way that they're able to donate those scrubs is they do a mission trip annually. So this past year in November, I was actually fortunate enough to be selected to go on their mission trip to India. And so I went to India for 10 days. And of the 10 days, 6 of them were had a clinic. And so we had a free clinic that was like in a very remote part of like northeast India. Like you wouldn't even think it was India because it's in between like Burma and China. So everyone who we served was like Asian. It was like it was kind of a strange thing. I just didn't know. You know what I mean? So it was really cool, a very humbling experience. It was a multidisciplinary mission. So, we did anything from extractions in teeth to prescribing medications to doing like low level surgeries that we could do. A lot of like not ultrasonic, but like a lot of like x-ray stuff. So we were doing a lot of diagnosing for patients and, prescribing and giving them the necessary treatment that they needed. So that's one way that I like to use my platform, is connecting with brands and connecting with groups of people who are really focused on like outreach. Because I think, being a part of this like new age of social media and everything is so immediate, like we have this ability to really serve others and help other people. So that's big to me. The second thing, like I mentioned before, is mentorship. So one of the big things for me growing up was I didn't have anyone, or I don't have anyone in my family who really is in healthcare. Not too many people also who really like graduated or went to college in terms of like bachelor's, nothing really like post bachelor's either, like no master's, no doctoral degrees, anything like that. So it was never a hindrance for me. It was never something where I was like, oh, poor me or anything like that. But it was really something where like I saw a need, right? I saw an opportunity that could be met in terms of like my familial line to really take that first step into this profession in terms of healthcare, in terms of pursuing a doctoral level degree. And when I was growing up, I didn't really have that. I didn't really have any people to look to for that. So I intentionally use my platform to try and be that for other people and really try and offer my inbox or my phone number really to be able to speak to pre-dental students, pre-nursing students, pre-medical students, just about the path that I've taken and in any way that can help them, showing them that being a part of medicine, entering the medical field is not something that is as daunting as headlines or companies or statistics or schools make it out to be. Like you really can. Now that I'm kind of like in this space, I really understand that like you can make it, and there's also people who are in these spaces who want to see you make it. So there's a lot that I'm doing, especially in wake of everything with the Black Lives Matter movement. a lot that I'm doing with my school specifically to make the next generation of Black dentists who come to USC at least make them have a lot smoother of a transition. So it's an interesting time for sure, and
Definitely.
it's a time where I really feel like we as minorities, like us as minorities, can do a lot of good and can use our platforms and use our network and our influence to help the next generation.
Oh, totally. And you hit on some really great points right there. A lot of and during these chats that I've had recently, a big topic has been, or a topic that's come up various times has been social media. And, how it's a tool that could either be a hindrance and, make
Yeah,
things really difficult for yourself, but it can also be something really great. And I love how you are using your platform and your social media in order, the mentorship part and also the outreach, which I think,
yeah,
people don't realize that it can be so much more than just, scrolling through and seeing other people's lives. It can be so much more. And there's so many opportunities for impact
100%.
as well. And I think another really big thing that you kind of talked about is that you didn't like the importance of representation in these fields that you don't really see people of color, or people from like lower socioeconomic lives
Yeah.
and communities. So I think that's super huge. And do you want to go into a little bit about how you got into dentistry and what sort of got you started with that?
100%. Yeah. So, dentistry specifically was an interesting path for me. So, as I mentioned, I didn't really have too many mentors growing up in the healthcare field. I didn't have anyone from my family specifically, but there was one person that I did kind of latch on to later on in my preteen or teen life, I guess. When I was in eighth grade, seventh, eighth grade, I got braces at my orthodontist office, and for the first time, when I stepped into his office for the first time, me personally and my family, it was our first Black doctor ever. All of our other doctors across the board were always Black, even always non-Black. And so for me, growing up, I'm half Black, half Filipino. And so for me growing up, I never thought that the doctor title, working in health, it was not really a thing for me. It was always becoming a doctor in my mind, at least up here, was always something that was reserved solely for affluent families or white families. I mean, to be frank, right?
Yeah.
Or kids who come from that. If my mom and dad's a doctor, or my dad's a dentist, that's just the line of thinking that I had. I don't know where along the lines of me growing up where that was ingrained, but that's just kind of how I thought. And so seeing him, my orthodontist, acting this way where his practice was extremely successful. He was always really happy. His staff was always happy. He always had a new BMW in the parking lot. I was like, this guy's living. I was like, this dude's living life, man. So yeah, that was the inception of it. I always liked my teeth. I don't know why. I was a kid who would stand in front of the mirror and brush my teeth for 30 seconds in each quadrant and count. I was OCD about it. It was crazy. I think part of it was me not want to let him down. I don't know really. But it was cool. That was really cool. And he kind of introduced me to it. Once I was at not at USC, once I was at Bishop O'Dowd, my high school, when I was a junior, they brought 10 or 12 of us into this room, into the boardroom. It was kind of strange. It was there was a USC rep that was coming, and then 10 of us secretly got these little slips to get out of class, and we had a meeting with this lady, and it was I looked around the room, it was all the people who were in honors classes, all the people at 4.0s, all the people who were ASB presidents and stuff. I was dang, how am I in this room? I think it was I mentioned it to my my counselor at the time, and so she brought me in. But I saw, when I was in that space, I saw in the pamphlet that they had a bachelor's major for dental hygiene. And I was like, man, I've always been interested in dentistry. I've always wanted to do it. Let's give this a shot. And literally since 11th grade, me having that experience, a positive experience with my dentist, who is a Black man, and then being connected to USC in this kind of God chosen way, I guess. I don't know. It was fell into my lap. I've been really chasing this dream ever since. And I've made it a point to every step along this process that I take, be thankful, number one, for the opportunities that have been bestowed upon me, and two, make sure that like all these steps that I take, I'm living in it in real time. I'm not just like, oh, I graduated, that's not a big deal. Like it's a big deal. I graduated from USC. I think it's absolutely incredible. I'm very proud of myself, and I want to show the next person who wants to go to USC and wants to go into dentistry that it's possible. Like it really is possible. They make it seem so much that, you know, the statistics say that 10% of all applicants get accepted, and even fewer of those are minorities, right? If you were to listen to those stats, like you wouldn't get on a plane if it had a 10% chance of landing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
why would you
exactly.
apply
Yeah.
to this school? You know, so it's like I really want to show people my story to allow them to defy statistics. Say that's not what you should base your decisions off of. It's really about like your personal outreach and how you want to make an impact.
Totally, man. And
Yeah.
along your journey, did you, to getting to where you are right now, obviously, you talk about how you're like feeling very blessed as well to be able to get those opportunities. Were there times where, you really struggled or, you reached some like big bumps along the way?
Big time. Yeah, of course. I think like many of us who go away for
Mhm.
college, it's your first time away from your family usually, unless you go to college like locally.
Mhm.
But that was a really big thing for me. Being away from my family, even though I was just in Southern California and my family's up in the Bay Area, that was really tough for me. Couple that with the fact that I'm at USC, which is like a very difficult school academically,
Yeah.
and then I was taking all the same classes that like pre-med, like traditional pre-med, hyper competitive students are taking. It was a very, very daunting and overwhelming experience for sure.
Mhm.
Um, you can ask Robel. Like there were plenty of times where during that first year there, I even told him, I was like, dude, it's hard for me to make friends down here, man. It's like
Mhm.
I feel like I'm in a different world. I feel like I'm not supported. There's not that many minorities here. I was oftentimes the only black student in my class, which is crazy.
Yeah.
We're in South Central Los Angeles. You know, it really blew my mind, and it was kind of a culture shock for me. But yeah, that was the first time. I think the second time was when I actually decided to go back to dental school. So as I mentioned earlier, I had a 2-year gap in between when I graduated dental hygiene and when I started dental school, 15 to 17. And so during the second year of that 2-year gap, I literally took a 3-month break from working as a dental hygienist, and I studied for the entrance exam, which is the DAT, similar to the MCAT.
Mhm.
um, and I was in the Bay Area, so I would go to Starbucks on MacArthur, right off of 580. I would literally show up at 9 a.m., get my seat in the corner, and I'd be there until 5 or 6 p.m. every
Wow.
single day for like 3 months. Yeah, I mean, a couple of days I took off, went to the gym or whatever, but like for the most part, I was there like 95% of those days during that 3-month period. Um, I took the exam, my entrance exam. Only took it once. I did well enough to where I was able to apply and get accepted. But it's like that process of really betting on yourself
Mhm.
and not knowing what the outcome is going to be. I walked away from an apartment in Culver City, like 10 minutes from the beach, like making really good money, coming out as a dental hygienist from USC. I was living life down here. I walked away from all of it with this idea, dream, and conception of like being something more than I ever thought I could be.
Mhm.
And I think like taking that leap of faith, and being successful at it begs me and like really pulls me in to like share that story and share that experience and share that motivation for somebody else who is maybe fearful of taking that step.
Yeah. How did you how are you able to, deal with those situations? You talked about, being the only black person in your entire class and how it felt very daunting and the difficulty of creating friends and not having that support system. How were you able to get through all of that and, get to where you are now? What, was it mental things? Was it reaching out to family? Was it,
Yeah, I think a combination of all of that.
Mhm.
I have a really good. I mean, Robel and I, for instance, have been friends for 15 plus years. You know,
Mhm.
and for every Robel and I's relationship, there's another like 5 or 6 from my high school where it's just as strong.
Yeah.
And so having that network has been really, 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 really big. Um, obviously my family too. I come from a bigger family. I have an older brother, younger sister, younger brother. We're all really close, and then my mom and dad obviously also. So you know, having their backing, having their support. My older brother at some points in time helped me pay my tuition. There were times where I didn't even think I could afford going to USC anymore. He literally was like, "Bro, here's my account number for like transfer whatever you need," and I'll be like eternally grateful for that. You know, it's like those moments, and like I have a snapshot in my mind of where I was walking on campus with my bike, like literally thinking, is this my last day? And he bailed me out, you know? So things like that, that not only made it easier to succeed, but like kind of propelled me and pushed me forward to where plan B is not an option. Like there is no other option than to be successful. There's no other option than to succeed. It puts you in a corner, and it makes me feel like I'm very it's a very solitude experience. Like it's a very like scary experience to go through something like that, and feel like you're the only one that has your back, and feel like I literally can't go back to the Bay Area without this degree because I'm letting my family down. Like that, it was not an option for me. So when it comes to answer your question, when it comes to me being the only black male in my class, or me getting called out when there's a statistic about African Americans, or okay, Levi, what do you like? All those types of conversations. It was never a point where I'm like, I'm gonna take this personally, or I feel uncomfortable. It was just like, got to get through it, man. You got to get through it. And USC is just another brick wall that I got to break through, another hurdle I have to get over to get to this bigger bag that is becoming the first doctor in my family.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's so great to hear. I think family, in my situation as well, family has been such a big part of my support system throughout the years. And, you know, some people don't have that support system. And,
Yeah.
you know, they get stuck, and they just, you know, they don't have those people to rely on. And, you know, it's really cool to hear how, you know, your brother did that for you. And
yeah,
in a sense, it puts a lot of pressure, but it motivates you to
big
a
time,
whole different degree too.
big time. Yeah.
Man, that's incredible. And so, did you ever feel like, you know, did it ever get to the point where like, I can't do this anymore, like I'm done, or have you just been like, you know, like we said, just like, you know what, I just got to keep pushing through? Or
Yeah, I mean, of course, there were times where where I felt like I was done. Um, did that feeling of me being done, me being exhausted, me being tired, was that ever heavier than the feeling and the weight of like needing to be successful and needing to go back to my like never. It was never even in comparison. Like Eric Thomas, hip hop preacher, right? He had this video, so funny, this is crazy. He had this video where he talks about the kid who's like training at the beach, and then, you know, it's like a long little parable story, but like he's a trainer and holds the kid's holds his head underwater, and then when he brings him up, he was like, you have to want to be successful more than you want to breathe. Like that's how bad you have to want this, you know? And so when I think of my life in terms of like the grind and like the grit and the hustle, like I don't when someone tells me, okay, you have to go to the library and study 30 hours for one exam, and you have to do that multiple times for multiple classes for years on end, I don't blink an eye. I really don't. I'm not scared. I don't fret. Like I'm like, okay, let's get after it. Like, what do I have to know? What do I have to learn? Like, what can I learn today to be better for my patients? That's how I look at it now, you know? And my desire, my hunger, my it's like a tenacity that I have about me as far as like achieving my goals. It far surpasses any kind of like in the moment doubt of myself, in the moment like, damn, like I don't know if I'm gonna pass this test. I don't know if I'm gonna have the right answer to this question. And that's not always in a classroom. Sometimes it's in front of a patient in a clinic with a gown on and a faculty standing over my neck. Like sometimes that's the framework in which I have to work in, you know. But it's like I'm constantly telling myself that like these opportunities where you feel super uncomfortable, these opportunities where you feel almost threatened, the opportunities where you have to where you're like that, like, oh shit moment, you know, those are the moments that I'm learning from the most. Those are the moments that where I'm able to grow and I'm able to really like add to my tool belt as far as like me having this sense of like just like grit, man. Like nothing's gonna shake me. Nothing is, because there's been so many things in my past that have had the potential to break me, but nothing has then. So like, why are we stopping now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And there's this saying that I've heard a lot, is this seek discomfort. And, you know, this idea, and that's the whole this idea of chase stories as well, and something that this little mantra that it started off as a little mantra that I told myself, chase stories, get out of your comfort zone, do things, to create those memories, and that you'll look back on, that you can say, you know what, I'm really happy I decided to do that. I'm happy I decided to push through. It was super important that, it was tough at the start, but at the end, because I continued chasing it, look at where I am now.
I love it.
It's super important to that, like you said, those tough moments, those times where you feel really uncomfortable and where you're pushed to the brink at times. Those are the times where you learn the most and where you grow the most, the personal development, the stuff that you need to grow in order to achieve your dreams or do whatever in life. You need
100%.
those moments.
Yeah, it used to feel good. It used to feel
Yeah.
good for me when like someone would say, "Oh my God, good job!" Like, "Oh, like great job! Oh, you did well!" And like, it used to feel good as a kid, like being naive, not really knowing too much about the world. In like high school, like all that used to feel great. But my 4.0, the one time I got one report card on the fridge, that felt great. But now it's like we kind of been there, done that. You know what I mean? We walked the stage, we have the degrees, we had money, we had no money. Like it's like we've kind of been there. And so now it's about exactly what you just said about seeking discomfort.
Mm-hmm.
Seeking discomfort and surrounding yourself with people who are going to challenge you and be a better version of yourself. Because for us, like, the world is not going to offer anything to us. The world is not going to hand anything to us. Like, we got to go out there and take it. And I think really the only way you can do that is by doing exactly what you said, like really chasing these stories and seeking it out. I love it.
Hell yeah, man, for sure. And I was just thinking too, a lot that you can have this grand idea of what you want to do with your life, and it's very at times romanticized.
Yes.
You think like, I'm just gonna get there. Let's just say you, for example, I'm gonna be a dentist. I want to be a dentist. I'm gonna help people. All that stuff. And once you start doing it, there is going to be a time where you're going to be, there are going to be the hurdles, there are going to be the challenges. You're going to have to step up to the plate.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to grind, and some people don't realize that, especially when you're trying to follow your dreams and do that. Like, it's super important. You need to be focus your energy on some stuff that you want to do because that's fulfilling, but also you need to realize as well that you're gonna have to put in the work too.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's been brought up enough on these chats too, that there's going to be times where you need to really, really just grind in order to do what you want to do with your life. And there are going to be people who doubt you or whatever, but you got to push through it, because at the end it's totally worth it.
Yeah, and I think that's been, speaking of mantras, I think that's been my mantra for this last year of my dental school experience. Like, my last year in LA, like after I hopefully graduate in May of next year, I probably am never going to live in LA again. I'll visit frequently. I have a lot of friends and colleagues here. But my mantra for this last year has really been exactly that. Just get after it, man. Like, really just grind, hustle, and just like learn as much as I can during this time. So yeah.
Definitely. Let's talk a little bit about your service, because that's become, just from talking to you the other day, it seems like it's a really big part of who you are and what you do. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of your experiences and, some of the stuff that you were telling me the other day too about, with
Sure.
the migrant workers too?
100%. Yeah. So the way I'm able to achieve this goal of like really serving others through the vein of dentistry is twofold. Both domestic service and then international service.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say that my love for service really started in another country, in Guatemala. My first year in 2015, my first year as a dental hygienist, my boss at that time was also a dental hygienist turned dentist. So she worked as a dental hygienist for 9 years in private practice. And then she was like, okay, I want to go back and get my doctorate and become a dentist. And so after she graduated dental school, she went on service trips to Guatemala every year. Like every single year, she shuts down her office for like 2 weeks in the summer, and then travels to Guatemala. We all pay for this too. Like, it's not sponsored by any company, so we save around the clock to be able to pay for our flight, pay for our trip, like pay for all of our travel expenses going there, and then also like try to make up for the fact that we're not working for 2 weeks. We're literally working for free for a full pay period. So it just takes some planning, some financial planning. But I'll get to it, that the fact that like obviously it's more than worth it and absolutely rewarding. So when I was there, I mentioned this before, but as a dental hygienist, you have the opportunity to do local anesthesia. So like I can numb areas of the mouth. I can do like cleanings, deep cleanings. I can I can do exams, like pre-screenings for the doctors, things like that, but I can't do everything. So as a hygienist, you can't extract teeth, you can't do fillings, you can't do like long-term like restorative needs. You can do like a lot of prevention stuff.
Okay.
And so when we were there, the hospital we were working in was completely overwhelmed. Obviously, some of these people hadn't had cleanings in their entire life. So I was treating like 55, 60-year-old people, women, men who hadn't had a teeth cleaning in their entire life. I mean, most people in the States go every 6 months. These people had, like had never ever been. And so it's very tough work, like hard on my back, hard on my hands, that kind of thing. But it was super rewarding just in the things and conversations that we would have. I don't speak Spanish, unfortunately. I really am trying to learn. But yeah, but they would say things just like God bless your soul. Like, thank you for coming to my country. Thank you for like serving my people. Like, not just like, okay, thanks, Doc, see you later. It's like deep, like it's love, and I really felt it. Even though we didn't speak the same language, I feel like my ability to serve translated and really transcended the language barrier. And so on my way home from that trip, literally on the flight home, I was like, man, I can't go about my life just being limited in my capacity to be able to serve. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that I'm throttled in my ability to really help these people. And so literally from that trip, I quit my job as a dental hygienist within a couple of weeks of the trip. And then I moved home, as I mentioned before, took my DAT, applied to dental school, and then got accepted into dental school all within 9 months of leaving Guatemala, because the trip really inspired me that much. My first mission trip abroad. That was in 2016. Since then, I've gone to Nicaragua in 2017. That's this shirt I have on right now, actually.
Hey, that's nice. I like it.
Yeah. Nicaragua 2017. I went to Panama in 2018, 2019. I went to India in November. I went to the Philippines in December. And then like 3 months ago or 4 months ago in March, I went to the Dominican Republic. Yeah. So those are the 6 international dental humanitarian trips I've been on. That's the international part. And then in terms of domestic, I'm involved with a group at USC in my dental school of volunteer dental students. We volunteer to go anywhere as far north as Fresno, like middle of California for people who aren't familiar, and as far south, like borderline Mexico, in San Diego. So we travel, and the idea behind the travel is that we're following the patterns of migrant farmers. So based on whatever agricultural season it is, there's farmers that will travel like from city to city all over, Central and Southern California. And our goal is to work with the youth that are part of those families. And so we literally start our clinic at as early as like 7 or 8 a.m. And then sometimes the students who were serving, the patients who were serving in these populations, they're in the fields working until 6 p.m. So they don't get to us until 7. Dental work is not like that. And so we're working until like 1 or 2 a.m. sometimes, literally pulling like 14, 15-hour days. But at the end of the nights, like when we're doing these clinics, people are bumping music, we're cleaning up, we're wiping stuff down, we're dancing. Like it's a feeling that you get that's unparalleled, because you're with people who are doing things like out of the goodness of their heart and the true essence of service, which is to like put your own discretions, put your own feelings, put your own emotions aside and really just serve other people. I think as healthcare providers, it's absolutely essential that be our primary focus. If you want to go and graduate and work in Beverly Hills, I'm not shading anyone who does that. That's just not my cup of tea. And so this group that I work with, we're all kind of cut from the same cloth. And so when we go on these trips and we spend this time and all these hours and hours of like learning and working and laughing and like all this stuff, it's an experience that I will never ever give up for the rest of my entire life. One, because of how it makes me feel, like having the impact on other people, and 2, because of like all of the amazing patients I get to work with. These are the humblest people and the most gratified, like just happy, like very, very thankful people that I've ever worked with.
Yeah, man. And, I think if someone has not gotten a chance to do either a service trip or, use their talents in that way in order to give back to either their community or another community, whatever, I definitely think that that's something that should be, that's something that an opportunity that everyone should seek and put themselves in, because first of all, it gives you a different perspective on life. Working with people who may not be in the same situation as you and have, maybe, having a more difficult time and not be as blessed as you may be. And it really makes you look back and reflect on and be grateful for what you have. As well as, like you said, the feeling of either using your talents or your time in order to help. There's really no feeling like that. It's unparalleled. There's something so special and so fulfilling about being able to do that and help others. And in a sense, whenever I've done it, because I've done service trips to the Dominican Republic, and we work with at-risk youth, and spending time in the schools and stuff like that. And I always feel that whenever I go, I always end up getting so much more back than what I'm putting in.
100%.
And I think for any thing like that, like it doesn't have to be, going to a different country. I think any opportunity like that, you're really going to get so much more back. And just the people, the experiences, the shared moments. It's so like it really is something that everybody should get an opportunity to do.
I agree.
And yeah, man, I haven't gotten a chance, like financial reasons, to go back to the DR recently, and obviously COVID, but very much looking forward to the next time. Essentially over there, they've become my second family because I've gone like 5 or 6 times, and absolutely love the place. Let's talk a little bit about your mentorship stuff. Have you gotten a chance, like, do you do like one-on-one stuff, or is it just mostly just, speaking through your platform and giving people opportunities to like chat back and forth with you?
A mix of both. Mm-hmm. So I try to end a lot of my like Instagram posts and stuff where I talk about my experience. I try to end a lot of them by saying things like, if you're a pre-dental student, if you're pre-med, whatever, feel free to reach out to me. Mm-hmm. I'll try to help in any way that I can help. So through that vein, I've been able to connect with a lot of people, just like through DMs and stuff over social media. But past that, just like messaging back and forth, I do prefer to do just like one-on-one calls.
Yeah.
I'll do, because right now I have a long commute. I'm going from downtown LA out to Valencia, so it's about like 40 miles, and that's my commute for work. So I'm driving between like 70, 80 miles a day. And so what I try and do actually is schedule calls with pre-dental students during those times, just like kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah.
And so it's been really successful. I'd say I'm probably doing like maybe like 2 a week, I'd say. And just like check-ins, like trying to help people with like their personal statements, trying to help people with like their path in terms of dentistry, their path in terms of medicine. I had a call with this gal like literally 3 days ago, and she was asking me about anesthesia, like what is dental anesthesia, because that's the residency that I'm applying to. And we had like an hour-long conversation. We ended up talking about how she had some struggles during her first year of dental school, but she's looking forward to kind of rectifying those. And it just develops into like a real authentic relationship. I feel like when you come across as like truly just trying to help people, trying to lend a helping hand, like as not even that much of a senior to them, but just like a little bit older, having a little bit more experience, it really has the power to do wonders, like beyond what I even thought. Like a lot of these students I'm following up with like over years, like kids I met or students I met during my first year while I was at the dental school, they're now entering dental school. It's really, really, really a cool sight to see. But I seek it out, man. I really do seek it out. It's something that I feel again, it's like my obligation and I enjoy doing it. It's not a chore for me at all. And I want to see these people win. I want to see people around me win. I want to see people who look like me win. I want to see people who have the same like core beliefs in terms of service, in terms of like family. I want to see these people win. So I'll do whatever it takes to try and help in whatever little way I can.
Yeah, man. And we need more people like that for sure. Yeah. Just wanting to see their people win, and succeed. I think it's so big. And being that friend to others and providing that support. We all need it. And, some more than others, especially, they could be going through a really tough time. And, being that person can really change someone's life when you don't even recognize, like, you may not realize it in the moment, but, just something you say, a little action, whatever, it can really, really affect somebody in a positive way.
Yeah, I agree.
Man, that's awesome. I've been very blessed, I think, looking back on my experiences, to been able to meet so many great mentors, and have people in my life that have really, told me that you can do it, you can succeed. And I think it's been great that you're using your platform in that way. And and I'm sure that the people that have been following up with you are probably very grateful that you were able to
Yeah.
help them throughout the way.
Yeah, and I think you too, man. Like honestly, I think a lot of these conversations will happen around the dinner table, or will happen with our friends when we're all back home from college, or they'll happen during holidays and stuff, right? Very anecdotal, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like we tell our stories to each other, we motivate each other, we inspire each other, and then sometimes I'm not gonna say it dies, but it stays right there, right?
Mhm.
But doing something like what you're doing right now, about being like really intentional about sharing these stories and like chasing these things out,
Yeah.
I think is absolutely amazing, because it articulates so well to like how our generation and Gen Z, if you want to call them that, like how we consume like through this type of media. And I
Yeah.
think having the ability to document it, and having the ability to like take this, put it in a ball, put it through the channel somewhere, and like
Uh,
make it into this crazy it's just it's incredible. It's incredible because it doesn't, not everyone has to be in that circle where we're home from college and we're talking, we're drinking a little bit and sharing our crazy
yeah.
stories about how we overcame being the only minority in school. Like we're not the only ones that get to be a part of that. Now we get
Mhm.
to share this story and share it with potentially millions across the globe. So I think it's absolutely incredible that you're taking this on for yourself and for
Yeah.
all of us too.
Hey man, I really appreciate that. It definitely, it started off as just a small idea, and I'm like, other people need to be hearing these sorts of things,
Yeah.
and I think it would have helped me more as well, trying to figure out what I wanted to do if I had heard more of these, and these sorts of talks, and been a part of more of these things too. And that's why I'm intentionally doing those things in
Yeah.
order. It's not just, it is a lot for me too. I'm learning a lot through all of these talks, and I'm really hoping that, even if it's just one person, but hopefully it can create a huge impact where, people can really feel inspired or motivated or whatever. They can take something from these talks and
Yeah.
really apply it to their life, and hopefully make things a little better, or, help them chase whatever dream they're doing.
100%.
So Levi, so you're finishing up, you're hoping to graduate. Where do you kind of see yourself? What's your plan? Do you have a plan, or are you just kind of taking it day by day?
Yeah. So my plan, as of right now, is to finish dental school.
Mhm.
So as I said before, I'm in my fourth year of dental school. Dental school is the same calendar school year. So we go from August until May. That's like our calendar. And so I would be graduating in May of 2021. I'd be a
Mhm.
dentist, be a doctor. So excited. Um,
Yeah, man.
but I'm applying. I just submitted my application last week actually for a specialty. So I apply. So how it works in dentistry is you don't have to pursue a specialty. When you're in medicine, like when you go to medical school, you have to. So medical school is 4 years didactic. Like you work with some patients during your third and fourth year also. But after those 4 years of medical school, wherever you go, you apply to residency. You apply to like whatever specialty you want to pursue, whether it be like gastroenterology, whether it be neurosurgery, whether it be dermatology, whatever you want to, whatever field of medicine you want to get into. You apply and then you get accepted to residency, or you don't get accepted, and then you like take a gap year. But I mean, most people get accepted into residency, and
Mhm.
then you pursue your residency career that way. And then after that, you start practicing as whatever specialist in medicine you want to practice as. In dentistry, it's a little bit different. You can graduate from dental school in 4 years. Some schools are 3 year programs, but for the most part, they're 4 years, and you can start practicing right after you graduate, after you walk the stage, take your board exams, and you can start practicing. You can open your own practice, run your own business. You can buy into a practice. You can work as an associate. You can work for a corporate like a Western Dental or something like that. But for me, I want to pursue a specialty. So I want to pursue a specialty in dental anesthesiology. So our top three patient populations as dentists, anesthesiologists, are needle phobic patients, pediatric patients, and special needs patients. So those three groups of patients, typically you can't just sit them down in a dental chair, stick a needle in their mouth, and say, okay, just like hold still for me.
Yeah.
Like it's tough. It's tough for anybody. It's tough for me to get shots in my mouth, let alone someone who's like maybe not there all the way mentally, right? And so because of that, the field of dental anesthesiology is really emerging. You have the ability as a dentist anesthesiologist to put somebody to sleep 100%, like under general anesthesia, where they won't remember, they'll detect very low levels of pain, but even that they won't remember it. You can really kind of monitor their surgery all the while. And so that's what's in it for me. The residency is 3 years long. All the programs are on the East Coast, so for the first time, I'll be out of LA,
Oh wow.
and I'll hopefully be in New York. That's my number one right now. Interviews are coming up soon, and then I'll find out where I'm placed, if I am placed, God willing, in November. So after May, I would do dental anesthesiology residency for 3 more years. And graduate. I'll be done with school completely in 2024. And then at that point, my plan is to come back to the Bay Area. I want to open up shop in Oakland, East Bay. Like that's my goal. I have a bunch of connections in San Francisco where I kind of work during my breaks from school here in LA. So I could potentially try to start something there also. But as of right now, the goal is to work over in Oakland, kind of be a part of that community. I really want to be a part of that community in whatever way I can. Robel and I, we always say this, like at some point in time, we're going to be back in the Bay Area. We're going to coach JV basketball together. That's another goal of mine. No, 100%. Like we're going to be it, man. We're going to be the coaches. We're going to do co-head coach, however you want to call it, and coach these guys up. But I think having the ability to like go back to our high school, go back to our community and be a staple there and show them, hey man, this is my path. I walked this line. If you want to walk a similar one, I got you. If you want to walk a different one, I know people who did it. So let's do it together, and not have it be such of like a individual battle. Like it doesn't have to be that hard. It doesn't have to be this miracle story that each of us make it out of our communities and each of us make it to be successful. Like it can be something that can be paved a little bit easier. And I think that we play a huge role in doing that for the next generation.
Yeah, totally, man. We got to pull each other up. That's once somebody gets there, just pull up the next person and hopefully continues that chain and creates huge impact in the long run.
100%.
And so you are going to have to join us one of these days on Robel's virtual workout squad thing.
Yeah. I was there. So in LA, the gym's open for a little while. So I've been in the gym pretty much every day. But yeah, I was there for like two virtual workout squad sessions like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, but then the gym opened back up. But now it's closed again in LA. So I have no other option. I took today off. I've been in the gym like the past 5 days in a row. But I'll be there tomorrow for sure.
Good. Yeah. I mean, I took today off too, but I just remember the first time I went, I was just, I'd been coming out super out of shape. I'd injured my leg playing soccer a while ago and I just never got back into it. And literally it was on a Saturday where they have longer sessions and harder sessions. So I had to turn off my volume and my video because I was dry heaving.
I love it. That's funny. Getting after it.
Oh yeah. But, it's been great being able to do that.
Yeah.
So I think you already gave me a glimpse of the stuff that you'll enjoy doing. Obviously basketball, it sounds like. How do you de-stress? What are some things that you enjoy doing outside of, dentistry?
I love being with my family. That's number one. I go up to the Bay Area whenever I get the chance. If I have like 3 or 4 days off in a row, away from the hospital, I'll go up there and hang out with them. That's number one. I definitely like to get outdoors. We're planning a trip for my mom's birthday later in August where we're going on a houseboat. Super excited for that. Yeah, I'm really excited. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, man. I mean, in LA, there's so many things to do when things are open, right? But there's so many things to do. So there's a bunch of rooftop scenes down here, a bunch of like museums and stuff, some cool parks. So I like to get out and explore a little bit. I'm telling myself it's kind of like the Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance, right?
Yeah.
So my roommate's in law school, and he's a 4th year in law school because he's doing a night program. He's a full-time NBA basketball agent, and so. Yeah, he does that during the day and then goes to law school at night. And so it's 4 years as opposed to 3. So we have the same trajectory in terms of years in school. And so we keep saying that both of us, this is our last dance, our last year. For me, last year in LA, he's from LA, so he'll probably be here going forward. But for me, definitely my last year in LA, and I'm trying to take advantage of it, trying to soak it all in, because I know when I hit, hopefully when I go to New York, I'm not really going to see the light of day most days. So, yeah, it's all good. I'm excited.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. What was I going to ask? Oh, I had a question. How can we, as in the people watching it and myself, what would be the best way to support you and, your goal, your dream, whatever?
That's a great question. Wow, I don't think I've ever been asked that question. Wow. I'd say I'd say the biggest thing is continue to pay it forward. Continue to pay it forward. Um, I think this mantra of us all being all in, like really like us all buying in and just helping each other out, supporting each other in whatever capacity you can. It doesn't always have to be like financial. It doesn't always have to be, with your time. But if it's even just like, I don't know, lending a helping hand to someone, like picking up I don't know, doing your part, as far as like really trying to make positive steps in this life that we have. Like I think is really the biggest thing. I think we all have an opportunity to really love more across lines. Like we have the opportunity to like pay it forward a little bit more, and I think having us all as a collective adopt that attitude of not really being segregated and not like having these implicit biases goes a long way for everyone, makes everyone's job a little bit easier. So yeah, man, I appreciate the question.
Yeah, of course. I agree. People haven't asked me that, but when I was thinking of questions, as I was sort of, I have like this set of questions that to fall back on, and one of them was like, how can we best support you? And I mean, there's like I've had like people who are creatives, you can do photography, videography, whatever, and so like that's like kind of catered to them. But then I thought it could be, catered to everybody, and just like you don't really know what people are going through, and there's, I mean, even like a text message at times can be, so just like reaching out can be super important as well. What's the best way to reach you if people want to, hear more about your story or mentorship or whatnot? What's the best way to reach out to you?
Yeah. No, my Instagram handle is the best way. From there, we can forge, any type of relationship, whether it be over email or over phone. My Instagram is dentalguy_Levi. So
yeah, and I'll include that in the video and in the description as well.
Perfect. Yeah, and again, I mean it when I say it. I don't say this loosely. Anyone who needs help in terms of like medicine, in terms of my platform, however I can help in any capacity, like I really mean it. Like I don't say it just to say it. I'll carve out 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour of my day to really like have that conversation with someone who doesn't feel like they have any mentors. So this is really important to me.
Yeah, totally. And oh man. Wow, I'm blanking on the last thing I was going to ask you. I literally had it on the top of my head. Oh, from your story, what do you want people to get out of your story and, what we've talked about today? What would you say is you can say more than one thing. What people want to get out of it.
I think the number one thing is don't listen to the statistics. So if and what I mean by that is if a school says like on their website, oh, we accept 15% of all applicants, or if a dental program says, only this percentage of people pass this exam, or only these qualified applicants, only these test scores get accepted into our school, don't listen to that. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to it for a second. If you let those brick walls, I like to call them, if you let those kind of creep in your mind and cement themselves, they'll stay there forever. If I were to listen to those stats, I wouldn't be half as educated, if you want to say that, as I am. I wouldn't have gotten into half of these programs that I've been in my life thus far. I wouldn't have traveled to half the countries I've been to. And so that's the number one thing. Find mentors. There's people who look like you, people who don't look like you, who want to help you. So find those mentors. And if you feel like you can't find them, I'll help you find them, for real. Like I know really good people, and one of my missions is to connect good people with people who want to work hard, man. People who are down for the fight. If you're down to like get after it and really chase your dreams by any means necessary, let's do it. Like let's go for the ride, because either it's going to be me or someone else who's going to help you along that process.
Yeah, man, totally. Levi, seriously, thank you so much. It's been great talking to you. I hope in the future we can do I've been wanting to, because so many of these people are on their journey still and figuring stuff out, and they're going through it. That I really want to in the future do sort of like recap things and see how things are going and what new things they've been able to learn and accomplish
100%.
along the way. So hopefully in the future we can get back together and do another one of these. And also whenever you're in the Bay, me and Robel, I'll shoot some hoops with you guys too. 8th grade basketball, sharp shooter from behind the line, spot up
100%. 100%, man. Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I said it earlier, but I really can't thank you enough for, taking the time to host this. It's gonna have an impact. I really think that is beyond, like we said, it's beyond anything that we can potentially imagine. So kudos to you to really taking your time and your talents and like your skills in photography and videography to put something like this together. So the network is going to keep growing. It's going to keep getting bigger, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Hey, man, I really appreciate that. And, I'm just here for the journey. We'll see where this ends up in hopefully something big, but, we're here for it.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks, man. Have a good night. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man, you too. Appreciate it. Thank you for tuning into Chase Stories Chats. If you enjoyed and want to find more, follow along at Chase Stories on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and let me know what you thought of the chat. And if you'd like to be involved, please reach out through chasestories.com.